Hello everyone, welcome back to the Avenues and Milestones. Today we are diving into one of the most crucial aspects of project management, which is project risks. Risks are uncertainties that can impact your project scope, timeline, quality, or budget. Identifying them early gives you the power to manage them smartly. So let's walk through common project risks, real world examples, how to avoid or mitigate them, and the tools that can help you with doing those. Unrealistic deadlines force your team to rush, which can lead to burnout and low quality work. For example, being asked to complete a complex website in 2 weeks when it realistically takes 2 months can compromise everything. In order to overcome unrealistic deadlines, instead of guessing from the top, let the team estimate time at the task level. This way, deadlines are grounded in reality, not assumptions. You can use tools such as Microsoft Project, Excel, task estimators, work breakdown structure based on effort estimation templates, ClickUp time estimation features, etc. Another way is use past project as a reference. If a similar project took 8 weeks, chances are you won't complete this in 2 weeks time. So you can use project archives, lessons learned databases, project management information systems, and so on. Also, you can use the 3 point estimation method optimistic, most likely pessimistic, and then calculate the weight average using PERT. It helps reduce bias and better predict effort. You can use Excel or Google Sheet for formula calculation, Microsoft Projects duration field, etc. Also, identify the critical path, the sequence of tasks that determines the minimum project duration. It helps clarify what cannot be delayed and where you can build flexibility. Don't assume resources are 100% available. Use calendars to account for public holidays, part time staff, team vacations, which gives a realistic view of who can do what and when. In Agile, you break work into time box sprints. You don't estimate everything upfront, just what fits in the sprint. This protects you and your team from overload and avoids deadline surprises. Build in time buffers for unexpected issues, whether it's development delays or approvals taking longer. These buffers can save your project. A realistic deadline doesn't slow you down, it gives your team the time they need to do the job right. Plan it, justify it, and deliver with confidence. Scope creep happens when the project scope expands beyond what was originally agreed upon without proper adjustment in time, cost, or resources. For example, take a government website revamp project started with the scope to update the homepage and news portal, and halfway through, departments began requesting new features like online payment, GIS mapping, recruitment modules, etc. All were added without extra time or budget. The result? Project overran by 4 months and went 60% over budget. In order to prevent scope creep, start with a clear and detailed scope statement which outlines project boundaries, what's in the scope, what's out of the scope, deliverables, and acceptance criteria. Create a work breakdown structure, a visual breakdown of all tasks and deliverables. It helps your team stay focused and aligned. Document all client and stakeholder requirements early and get their formal sign off before starting. This avoids surprises down the line. If a new feature is requested mid project, don't just say yes. Follow a formal change control process like submit a change request, evaluate impact on scope, time, and cost, review with the stakeholders, approve or reject the change, and finally make sure to document the change. Set and monitor the scope, schedule, and cost baselines. Any deviation can then be quickly flagged and investigated. Communicate early and often with stakeholders. When they understand the impact of adding just one more thing, they are more likely to support formal process. Once the development begins, enforce a scope freeze, a rule that no new changes will be considered without formal evaluation. This preserves focus and momentum. In Agile, changing needs are expected. But even then, use tools like product backlogs, sprint goals, and user story prioritization to prevent uncontrolled expansion. Scope creep isn't always obvious at first, but left unchecked, it can derail even the most promising projects. With discipline, tools, and processes, you can stay on course. Communication issues are silent killers of projects. A simple misunderstanding can lead to days of rework. In remote settings, especially, it's important to set clear expectations and have regular check ins. In order to prevent poor communication, start with a communication plan. It defines who needs what information, when, and how they'll receive it. You can use tools like Microsoft Word, Excel templates, or project management software to build this. Having a proper communication plan will set expectations clearly from day one. Using the RACI matrix to define roles, who is responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed for each task. It eliminates confusion and finger pointing. By having a clearly defined RACI matrix, will allow everyone to know their role and who to loop in. Regular check ins like daily stand ups in Agile help surface blockers and misalignments early. Even a short 15-minute sync can boost clarity, which will benefit in fast feedback loops and real time updates. Make sure to adopt tools that centralize conversations and documentation, such as Slack or Microsoft Teams for messaging, Notion Confluence or Google Docs for knowledge sharing, Asana or Trello for task tracking. Make sure everyone knows where to communicate and what belongs where. By doing this, it prevents information scattering and keeps everything accessible. Use tools like Fellow App, Miro, or even structured agenda templates to run effective meetings. Always clarify objectives, not action items, and follow ups. It will make meetings become purposeful, not chaotic. Visual dashboards in tools like Power BI or Jira gives everyone a shared view of progress. Use traffic lights, timelines, or burn down charts for clarity. This will clearly benefit the stakeholders because they can track progress without asking. Make sure to foster a culture of active listening. Tools like anonymous surveys, retrospectives, or feedback boards help surface concerns early. Through active listening, it will build trust and improve team engagement. Poor communication doesn't just slow the project, it destroys it. But with thoughtful planning and the right tools, you can create a culture of clarity, alignment, and shared success. When your team is split across multiple projects or a key member is pulled off midway, progress stalls. Imagine losing your only front end developer just before the UI phase, which is going to be a huge risk. To prevent resource constraints, You can start with a resource breakdown structure. This will help you identify all types of resources needed: people, tools, facilities, and then you can map them to each deliverable. This will definitely prevent the surprises in the middle of the project. Use resource calendars to check actual availability. Tools like Microsoft Project, Smart Sheets let you see who's available, when, and how long. By doing so, it will avoid scheduling someone who's already booked elsewhere. Use tools like Trello or Jira to give you a view of the workload so you can quickly spot over allocated team members. You can also use color coded dashboards to balance workloads. Make sure to keep communication open. Use shared dashboards and cloud based tools so everyone is clear on who is doing what and when. This will keep your team productive, not overwhelmed. Use resource leveling to adjust timelines based on resource availability. It might extend your schedule slightly, but it prevents burnout and missed deadlines. This will give you realistic timelines with better team health. Plan for backups in your risk register. For example, if a key developer might get reassigned, have a trained alternate ready or document onboard plans. By doing so, it will keep the project moving even with sudden changes. Resource constraints are part of every project, but with careful planning, smart tools, and proactive communication, you can keep your team balanced and your project on track. Changes can trigger resistance, especially when it involves new tools or processes. For instance, your team may refuse to switch from spreadsheets to a new project tool, slowing down the progress. You can overcome the resistance to change by identifying your stakeholders. Use tools like crazy metrics or stakeholder power interest grids to do so. Engage the stakeholders early, listen to their concerns, and always keep them informed. Always make sure to apply a structured change model and reinforcement to guide your team through change in manageable steps. Find early adapters and influencers in your team. Make them your change champions. They lead by example and bring others along the way. Don't just announce the change, lead it with empathy, structure, and support. Resistance is natural, but with the right tools, you can turn it into commitment. Every project comes with risks, but when you anticipate them, plan for them, and communicate clearly, you give your team the best chance to succeed. Thank you for watching Avenues and Milestones. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, share in the comments what project risks have you faced and how did you handle it. Plan the journey, celebrate the arrivals.